Hey there, gaming buddies, it's winter in Finland, with a response video to Andrew at Dawnforge Cast on his rewards topic. I'm gonna go over his points and make some suggestions of my own. Let's start with role-playing experience. For a new group, this is a good idea. It gives them some guidance to role-play, not just dice play, to make them describe, to talk, to really interact. For some groups that have been gaming for a while, I wouldn't use this because they're supposed to be role-playing anyway. And good role-playing is absolutely its own reward. I mean, some of the most memorable moments in your games haven't been dice rolls. Am I right? Now, the way to sort of offset this in games that have suggestions like in World of Darkness, the old and the new one, they have like, okay, those people that role-play get an extra point. Well, no, I don't reward for role-playing, but I do reward for accomplishing what you were going after, like getting things done. And this doesn't just mean combat, of course not. In my Hunter the Vigil game, the players got a whole heap of experience from investigating, from experimenting, things of this nature. And you know, I don't know, it's just a bit more flairful than just saying, okay, now you need to roleplay to gain X points. I mean, if you want X amount of points, you have to roleplay. I don't really like that. Even if you're not saying it specifically, as soon as you mention it, that's what certain types of players will be hearing. Then going on to skill points, feats and abilities. This is really good, and for games that have like a level-based structure, this is, I think, pretty essential. I reward people's special things when they reach certain milestones in the story, and I'm not talking in 4th edition sense milestones. I'm talking purely the story. Some big turning point. Like, let's say there's a civil war raging on and the players manage to broker some kind of peace between the two parties. Or if they make not just a milestone, but if they make a great discovery. Like during the Civil War, their side is losing, but the players find and reclaim an abandoned iron mine to the north, which bolsters their war effort. I mean, that would be worth a little extra. And raising ability scores would be like if they go through an especially harrowing physical challenge, they would have +1 to any physical stat, stuff like this. And furthermore, I'd add supernatural abilities. In my current Pathfinder game, one of the characters, for example, is a ranger, and he has a supernatural ability. One of his supernatural abilities called the Healer's Path, and he can actually either just teleport himself 30 feet in any direction or grab someone else and teleport them with him the same distance. And as they travel, they also get magical healing, so this allows him to act as a kind of combat medic, gives him a bit more mobility. But again, I haven't made it like, okay, you get Dimension Door once per day. That's just lame, I think. It has no flair to it. It's better to make it your own, make the ability your own. And hero points. I really like these. I don't use the hero point feats because I think those are pretty stupid. But overall, yeah, it's a rare commodity, and if you keep it rare so that they only get it when they do something heroic without spending these points, or they get one when they gain a level, great, absolutely. I think any game would only benefit from a mechanic like this, and like what you mentioned, Matt, where he used the poker chip for rerolls and stuff like this. It's great. And I've actually made it so that because we don't use those fees in my games, I raise the hero point cap with levels, so that now that they are 8th and 9th level, the cap is at 4 instead of 3 as it was previously, so that they can accumulate more of them. They're still not like rewarded constantly with hero points, but you know, gives them a bit more playing room, you know. NPC favors IOUs and contacts. This is great, and one of my favorite ways of rewarding characters. Simple things like an NPC that lets them stay at his house, sleep and rest could be huge. Not only does it bring this NPC closer to the characters, but like in the Civil War example, let's say there is a civil war raging on, someone giving you shelter could be huge. Let's say there's a merchant that offers you free travel. In a medieval society, travel is expensive and difficult. Free travel to a faraway land, great boon. In a science fiction game, travel between planets or space stations, it's expensive always. So getting a free ride essentially could be like, yeah. Access to a higher social circle or a different social circle. For example, the merchant giving them access to the merchant guild stores, ability to buy a greater variety of rare items, or even access to other merchants who could have some interesting jobs for them, or a noble giving them a glimpse of the good life, you know, in the marble palaces and stuff like this. Give them not only an important contact, but to give them a glimpse of what they might someday have, something to strive for. Followers, titles and perks, again, great thing, brings the campaign world alive. Possibilities here. Let's say the king says, okay, you have done such a great service that you don't have to pay taxes anymore. Yeah, could be pretty big if their income is large. Another possibility might be like a noble giving you a war steed, not just any old nag in a chainmail barding, but a real war horse that fights and does it well. And this could be like, let's say your players would have enough funds to buy a horse or even a couple of these horses. Guess what? People don't want to sell them. They're worth more than just coins. They're rare. So getting a war horse could be like not just a boost to their fighting ability, but it would be like, it would grant them status, like they go riding around on a real stallion that is obviously like a rare breed. People are going to notice. Other things, and this is by far I think the biggest one that you can ever get in something like a medieval game or medieval fantasy: land. Some lord grants you a piece of the world and says, this is yours, do what you will with it. Follow the rules of the empire, but this is yours. And this is really big. Any gaming group that I've rewarded with land or in any variety, they've really loved this, because it's something they can truly invest into. Similarly would be a position. Like if they're in the military, they get promoted, and if they're in a part of the church, part of a clergy, they get, suddenly someone comes to them and says, we've taken notice of your great works and we're going to give you an opportunity to be the founder of a religious mission in another land to spread the good word, and here are 50 of our brothers and sisters and some lumber and some horses, and go forth and spread the good word. That's huge. Not only is that an obvious hook for adventure, but it's also, again, basically giving them land, something to build upon. Finally, you spoke of elemental cores. I love this idea. I immediately thought of like Guild Wars 2, which I've been playing a lot recently, where you have all items have upgrade slots and you can put rooms in them. Yeah, this is really a cool idea. What I've actually done is I've removed all magic item creation feats from Pathfinder. Now, stop screaming. It's okay. You can still create them in my world. I haven't gone insane. It's just that you don't need the feats anymore. You need the proper spell, the proper components, and enough time. And enough skill, of course. But you don't need this feat and that feat. And because I always felt that it was just an unnecessary tax on certain types of players who wanted to maybe craft just a staff and a wand, not like start manufacturing hundreds of magical rings. I mean, they're expensive to make anyway, so why have all these special feats? And in addition to this, again, tying things back to the campaign world and making it a bit more evocative, the PCs can gather special crafting materials which lower the cost of creating items. Like if they slay a great lava elemental, they might find, well, basically like an elemental core, like some of this hot magma that sparkles, and they capture it in a vial, and they might be able to make like a fire resistant cloak out of it, or a flaming dagger, whatever. Again, giving it a bit more of a, you know, give them a reason to roleplay and investigate and build it themselves, not just like, okay, you have this feat and that feat and 2,000 gold, here you go, there's your magical item. Never liked that approach. Okay, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a nice day and have fun gaming. See you next time. Bye.